Hey guys, it's Raythe from Raythe Reign here, and I'm answering more of your questions in the second Ask Me Anything in November 2018. And I'm so excited. It looks like there's a really bunch of good ones here. So Dawn S. writes, Hey Raythe, since the holidays are here, I was wondering if you plan to do some short stories with holiday gatherings with characters from any of your series. I would love to see the Neo Tokyo group having a Christmas get-together and our Christmas in Winter Haven. I think you've done a short holiday with Ulrich and family before, but how about the rest of Winter Haven? Maybe short look-ins at each home and see how they are spending their holidays cozied up with their loved one. That would be fun. And also, she says, it was mentioned in a comment in What's Happening that you have plans for some new storylines. And I was hoping that you have plans to do a crossover with Drakon and one or all the Winter Haven crew. Would love to see the dragons and witches interact, or even vamps and dragons. Okay, I'm not so picky about who the dragons meet as long as there are more dragons. Laugh out loud. Love your stories, Raythe. You're awesome. And whatever you decide to do, I will be there to read. Oh, you're awesome right back, Dawn. So let's take this question in order. So the first thing is, if I intend to do any holiday gatherings with characters, I would really love to do this. I think your idea of looking in to see what's going on with each of them, I'll see if I can do it. I haven't put together the December schedule, so let's see what I can put together. I won't take a chapter from any of the really popular ones, but maybe. And then in terms of, do I have any plans to do a crossover with Drakon and all of the Winter Haven crew, or do some kind of crossovers with dragons? I don't. I am curious, though, if you are really interested in the Drakon characters per se, or if you just want more dragons, which, I mean, who doesn't want more dragons? And I totally understand that. That's, we will definitely see. I'm going to put up a bunch of story ideas coming up so you guys can sort of see what I'm thinking. You also can put up your own story ideas and we'll go from there. I think we will only ever have, though, one continuing serial, which is like a situation like one Sanctuary 2 or one The Fell, because we want to get new people in so they don't feel that they are behind and don't know where to start and feel like they can't enjoy the site with everyone else at the same time. Okay. So Alex95 writes, Hi Raythe, I'm new to your site, but already read loads of books. I actually ended up reading Sanctuary before the Pact. And I wanted to ask you something, if it's not a spoiler. But of course, if this question is going to be answered in the books, it's fine. I just read the first encounter with the Council in the Pact and read there's someone called Sarah Hawthorne in it. Now, if I remember correctly, Flynn's real name is Hawthorne instead of Haggerty. Is that a coincidence or are they related? Thank you, and sorry if I left a comment both here and on the What's New section. Don't worry about it, Alex. I'm happy to get this question. This is one of those situations where it was not actually a little Easter egg for you guys between the two, but now this gives me actually loads of ideas. That's probably dangerous. The next question is from Erl-King. I'm really enjoying the stories, but I have to admit that the white background makes it hard on the eyes, especially when I want to reread something and end up reading 10 plus chapters in a row. So my question is, will the new site feature a dark mode option, if that's possible? Because that would be lovely. Another question. Winter Haven Country Club banner says the story is updating, but it seems to never have new chapters added anymore. So is it completed, or do you plan on adding new chapters later? Also, I noticed that many of the stories feature same concepts and trope. For example, a young man with a harsh childhood, or the mention of first among equals, and so on. Do you plan on introducing fresh concepts and tropes in upcoming stories? As much as I do enjoy all these things, it does get a bit boring at times to see a recurring idea, concept, trope in many of the stories. That said, you're an amazing storyteller, and I love the characters and worlds you create. Aw, thank you so much. All right, so a lot of questions here. I would love if we could add a dark mode, but I don't know if we can. I will find out for you. That would actually be a really good concept. We do base the site off of a template, of a particular type of template maker that works with Joomla. And so we're sort of limited, even though Jeremy is a sort of tech god about what we can do, but I'll find out. The Winter Haven Country Club banner, ooh, does it say updating? I have debated this. The story had to continue on in Sanctuary 2. And a lot of it's going to probably finish up in The Fell. So I'm not sure if I'm going to switch back and keep updating Winter Haven in that story, or update it in the Fell. So that's why the banner is like that. So, but it's not one of the active updating serials. The story's continued on into Sanctuary 2. And I totally get you about the same concepts and tropes. I have done other things, but they have not resonated with the membership. I admit that this, of course, is my bag. I love this. This is my emotional fantasy that I'm always into. The chosen one, the outsiders, the ultimate insider, and all this kind of stuff. But when I put out the idea for different stories, you should think about other tropes that you like. And make suggestions. And that goes for everybody. Everybody, if you have an idea, please tell me. Because the idea is I want to write for you is for me. I've talked about the Venn diagram thing. Well, there's a circle of things that I like, and a circle of things that you like, and a circle of things that would make a good story. And what's in that center can be larger than what we have now. But I don't want to go off on a tangent that nobody's going to like, and frankly, that I may not do well. And I've said this about the Darkening, and I've said this about Lightless, and I've said this about a bunch of ones, even the Artifact, where we are different than the trope that we've just, that you've talked about, isn't as popular. In any event, when I post about the story ideas, I want you guys to talk about different tropes you like. Please no MPreg. I know people love it. Any other types of tropes, go ahead. Put them out there. Anna P says, "Hi, Raythe. New subscriber here. So this question the author is right on time. I've had questions I was already asking myself, and some of which were born watching your response videos. Thank you in advance for your answers." So her first question is, concerning the new website, would you create a post where we could suggest things? Because I think everyone has things they like and dislike with the current website. So creating a post would help you get track of what users experience and for you to know what are the most important things to change. Myself, I have many suggestions in mind. This is actually very valid, and we've done this before, but it has been a bear to get the website to the way we want it. We are thinking of you and things that you'd like, believe me. What we're going to get at the website as we've determined it right now. Then we're going to ask you what your pain points are and see what we can fix. But right now, we've got a website that's like 6 years old, and I've got to get up the new one. So I can't, we're not going to, basically, yes, you'll have a chance to tell us what you want, but really we're trying to make sure that it's really mobile easy, that it's really easy to navigate, that it's beautiful no matter if you're on a tablet, mobile, or a computer, and that it's, that we're doing the best we can, but we absolutely will ask for your feedback once it's up. Okay, so the next question is about the Erl-King. Loved it. Thank you. You said in the wrap-up post that you would do a rewrite where you would show more of Ethan's illness and other things, but I have not seen any rewrite. I don't consider the Fell a rewrite because it's like a completely different story. So did you make changes to the original stories that as a new user I can't see, or did you decide to not do it for the same reasons you do not do a rewrite of Darkening or Drakon? The Fell was... Guys, if you hear mewing in the background, my cat, Mew Mew, is being a pain. She wants my attention. But anyway, to go back to your question, answering your question, essentially, I redid the Erl-King and the Fell. And yes, it became very different. All the minimal changes that I thought I was going to do in the Fell ended up, as you said, being a whole different story. And I think it's just so much better. It's so much better. So much better. Anyway, so there's no story I'm withholding from you. It's just that the Fell is what ended up coming out. Okay, so 3. Still about the Erl-King. Will you write a sequel? I really love this story because the characters are a little darker. In general, I don't know why. I love better your older stories. They may be imperfect, but they have a rawness, natural feel I like. But given what you say about Darkening, I could guess why you would not do it. I'll post some comments someday in the Erl-King, the Fell to be more precise with you. The Erl-King's darkness, I totally know what you mean. There is something hot about that. But there's also something really abusive about that. And that's bothered me a little bit. And I think that bothered some of the other people a little bit. I am not saying, I would like to be able to do that. Oh God. I want to be able to do some sort of evil characters that have that sexual edge. But like I've said, I find myself softening them and sort of like, it's almost like it's worse than if I never did it at all. I have to think about it. Like, again, this may be more about tropes that we can do if I can stay in that headspace. As Kat says, I like heroes. I love villains in terms of like making them interesting and in the story. And Mew Mew is now back again. Kat is chasing her away. So I understand what you're saying. But I think that's more an EF and not about my writing, because God knows it's much better than it was in the beginning. And thank you all who basically stayed with me. All right. Number 4, about the website. Are you warned when someone posts a comment with your name or something asking questions? Because I've seen several comments having a question but not having been answered. I do understand you cannot answer every single comment. To do so for the ones having a precise question and not just giving their appreciation guesses for the next chapter would be nice. No, I am not alerted when you write a comment. It's annoying. Basically, I can keep up with the latest chapter and I watch those chapters as soon as I keep an eye on them. But if I don't go and scroll through all these back end stuffs, I don't, which is why I try though to look back a couple chapters each time. If someone has asked a question on one of the older books, I honestly will probably not see it, which I'm not really happy about. But what we're going to do is we're going to have this Jom Social thing in to the new site. And I hope that then people on the older books will just simply send me a comment or you'll be able to talk to one another and it will be much, much better. But right now the comment software is limited. And I'm really sorry if I've missed, and I know I've missed comments. And yes, there is a time element to not responding, but really more likely than not, I may not have seen it. So I definitely, if there's something you guys have about an older book or something that I didn't answer, just email me. I am happy to have you email me. Okay. Number 5, concerning the video, there's someone else talking at some points. Is that your assistant? Well, if that's not my cat, it's my other cat. It is Kat, the business butler and the person that you probably talked to if you signed up for Everdark. She is awesome. To call her my marketing person is sort of to downplay all that she does. She's my sounding board. She is my friend. She is all these wonderful things. And she's also the one who makes sure that these videos don't sound like bunk. So that's who you're hearing. Okay. Concerning the video, I am unsure if I understood something well. Is writing your primary activity for you and your team, or do you have jobs and the site is done during free time? I felt it was your primary activity, but you talked about the web designers of the website and said they did it during their free time. So I have a full-time lawyer job. And it's actually less stressful than it was, but I have a full-time job. The guys who work for me, they have other jobs that they do too. So we do this as a second or sometimes even third job, to make sure it all gets together. And I hope that, I'm not saying this as a woe is us type of thing, but I want to let you guys know that if you're surprised by this, it's because of the dedication of these guys to do this for me. As to myself, I am really trying to move to full-time employment with Just Raythe Reign, because time is the one thing that's holding me back in terms of making the site even better, giving you guys more content, being able to keep up on every single comment, thinking of new and interesting things like the web serials that I've talked about. Number 7, concerning the story schedule, how do you decide which stories will be updated on the day and not on another day? For the most part, I try to keep Sanctuary and The Fell at the beginning of the month. So they each get 2 updates a month. So I alternate between those 2 stories. And then I do Everdark, and then I do Erl-King's Blade. And then finally I end the month with Dragon's Reign. In the future, I will try to have basically every story having 3 updates. When Sanctuary 2 or The Fell ends, that's how that will go, so that we can get like 3 every week is dedicated to a story. And if we have extra days in the month, we can do something special like a short story or an extra chapter of one of the ongoing serials. 8, concerning the story's fantasy elements. Would you write stories which would take place in foreign countries, like in Greece or Egypt? I think it would lead to broadening your story's background. I would love to see mummies pharaoh stories with a reincarnation pharaoh searching for his beloved priest or something. I think that's actually something we considered, weirdly enough. I too feel that with all the crossovers in the Winterhaven universe, we don't see much original content characters. Not to say you're a bad writer, on the contrary. No, here's the thing. We've talked about this considerably. That's why Everdark, Dragon's Reign, and Erl-King's Blade do not cross over with anything. I learned my lesson with my Avengers-style Winterhaven. That was crazy, and it's ending. It's going to end. And from now on, there will be stories that are not interconnected. There might be another Everdark story, but it will be very different. We're not going to have all this crossover stuff going through to, a 10-year plan, which essentially this has been. Having stories in different countries are great, but here is the thing. I don't live in other countries. I live in the US. And though I have traveled, and though I've lived abroad, and though I've done all this, if you have not been to a place and truly experienced it, you are doing a really high gloss, and you run the risk of, quite frankly, alienating people who live there, making like stereotypical assumptions. It's really problematic, and I can do as much research as I can, but there comes to a point where I am not going to be, for example, living in Greece, so I can't know what the flavor of Greece is. I can look at photographs, I can watch YouTube videos, but that is not the same thing as being Greek and living in Greece. It simply isn't. Now, I can imagine maybe a past Greece and do research on that because nobody's living in that past Greek civilization. So my guess is maybe as good as anyone else's about what it's like. But if I were to write a story in modern Greece, I think I would be going beyond. It would take a lot of research, and I still don't think it would be as authentic. So yes, I would consider writing something in ancient Egypt. I consider writing something in ancient Greece, although both of those, you really have to do your research. 9, concerning the video, would it be possible to have a written version of your answers? Being a non-English speaker, it's sometimes difficult to catch what you're saying, and the captions of YouTube aren't the best sometimes. Okay, we're going to probably look into a transcription service. I sometimes do have answers for Kat written out, but like in this case, I'm totally winging it. But that is an issue. And I know that we have people from all over the world, and it's much easier to read English than it is to understand it orally because it's so much faster. And I give you such props for reading in a different language at all because I am embarrassingly bad. After 10 years of Spanish, I can't do it. Question 10, which is her last question, is a bit personal. Ooh, now I'm intrigued. So I'm not sure if you will answer it. I have noted that sometimes your posting hours quite late, the day after you said you would post. I think I read somewhere you're American. So my question would be, what is your time zone? Myself, I'm currently somewhere in Michigan. I'm actually in Chicago, outside of Chicago. And yes, you sometimes will see it into the next day. And I really hate when that happens. But I have this job and sometimes I literally am writing it up to the moment it's posted. I absolutely don't write ahead. I need to read your comments to see if I'm in the right direction. And so it's literally up to the last moment. So occasionally, oftentimes on Tuesdays, which is the bad day for me because I have a lot of stuff going on Tuesdays, that the chapter will be late. I don't know if it is voluntary or not, but I think you missed a question of iPod Pixie. Second comment of this post in the video. Ooh, all right. Well, let me go look up at iPod Pixie. I feel terrible if I've missed. Do you like to travel? And if so, where did you enjoy visiting? Is there any particular place you would like to visit? Have you considered writing a story containing an artificial life form? You once asked us for ideas on which fairy tale could be retold Raythe style. Have you had any thoughts about this? So iPod Pixie, who has named Iolaire and a ton of other stuff on the site, which has been great. Do I like to travel? And if so, where do you enjoy visiting? I'm not a big traveler. I have traveled in my life, but I'm very much a homebody. I spend my money on my home. Like I have a big couch. I redid my place so people could hang out more. My favorite thing in the world to do is sitting curled on the couch, writing and having, the television on and friends over. One of the things that I've done that's the geekiest ever is literally gone out to a friend to a really great restaurant we love, and we both bought our laptops so we could write. That sort of gives you an idea of what I'm like. Have I traveled? Yes, I have. I was abroad in England for a little over a year, visited Scotland and Ireland and France. I've visited Jamaica many times. My father used to have a small home out there. Gone to Mexico many, many times, California many times, Florida many times. I think that I really would like to go to Italy. A friend comes from there. We might actually go and visit her family. But other than that, I truly am a homebody. I like being home. Have you considered writing a story containing an artificial life form? I think you need to give me more information about that. Of course I would consider it. And then you once asked us for ideas on which fairy tale could be retold Raythe style. Have you any thoughts about this? No, because I'm waiting for you guys to tell me. It's back in your court, iPod Pixie. So somebody's got to, basically tell me what you guys think would be good. All right. Let's see here. I hope I didn't miss yours. If I did, let me know. We try to do these like every few months. So to definitely get the pulse on what you guys are thinking and wondering about. I will tell you that the new site will be coming. There'll be a lot of changes, but they'll all be for the good, we hope, or those that aren't the good, we'll fix it. All right. Take care, you guys. Please feel free to put any more questions or comments in the comment section below. And I hope you're well. Take care. Bye.